Hi Virgo, welcome to the full moon in Capricorn reading for June 22nd, 2024. Full moons close out cycles. Uh, for this particular reading, the direction the reading is going in is number 5, intention, back and forth. 5 is the number of change, so we may be closing out this cycle of indecision. Maybe the card indicates that the man straddles a seesaw, right? And he can be going back and forth, but in reality, he's still just staying in the same place. Um, so maybe because you're unsure, or maybe even fear can hold you back from making a decision, um, you're kind of being asked to trust yourself a little bit. Um, 5 is, like I said, the number of change, so it's very possible that during this 2 weeks, you'll probably get off the seesaw and make a decision one way or another. The interesting thing about this is that it's kind of reminds me of the Two of Swords, which is the moon in Libra. And that is that maybe you can see both sides of a situation, so it can be very difficult to make a decision. It would be interesting to see if Two of Swords comes up in your reading. But the Two of Swords also mentions or states that whatever decision you make, you will have challenges and rewards. There's not going to be one perfect solution. You're still going to deal with both sides of the coin. But this card is indicating the direction the reading is going, and so maybe some of you are in a situation where you can't make up your mind, or you are going back and forth between decisions for whatever reason. Okay, let's get started here. The first column is where you find yourself at the time of the full moon, or if you are consciously, oh, look at that. Two of Swords. If you're consciously closing out a cycle, you're going to find it in this column. Oh, wow. Okay. The center column is you and what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're doing. Wow, look at that. All right. And the last column is the column of probable outcomes. Some things when we are forewarned, right? Like the tarot may do. We can change things, but sometimes we're meant to have the experience. We've chosen to have the experience, maybe not consciously, but subconsciously, or our higher self. It's because it's always for our growth, always for our betterment. And if we see it that way and we look for the lesson in the situation, we've gained from it and we grow from it. Now, these are general readings, and so for me, the best way to do this for a group of people is to help you navigate your full moon. I do believe that, and I've known that the tarot can predict things, but it's kind of silly to think that it can predict for everybody who's watching this. And so for me, the cards have wisdom. I'd like to impart some of that wisdom upon you that the cards are offering, that the universe is offering, that your higher self is offering, so you can use it in your best scenario. All right. Let's get started here. Now, you do have a lot of air energy, so I do feel you in your thoughts quite a bit. But your intuition is going to kick in. I definitely see that here. And that's a good thing. Okay. Two of Swords. Moon in Libra. Exactly what I said before. Needing to make that decision, kind of going back and forth. I always think of the Two of Swords like a scissor that cuts something off in favor of something else. But with this card, the important thing is that the head and the heart are joined to make this decision. It can't just be mental. It can't just be thought. Intuition has to come into it, or your emotions, your feeling about the situation has to be incorporated into the decision making here. But again, whatever you choose, you will have challenges and rewards. That's karma, that's life, that's how it goes. You cannot separate the two. It's the two sides to a coin, right? So this card kind of just says make that decision and deal with the situation as it comes. Obviously, you have to think about it and you have to feel your way through it, but make the best decision for yourself. It's just saying make that decision. Because, like this card says, you get nowhere, right? You go back and forth, or you can't make the decision. You're just staying in the same place that you were. But it seems like it's time to make that decision now with the Justice card here. It is the Karma card. But both cards are asking you to make this decision with a light heart. And when this card comes out, there's justice. There should be a fair or just outcome with the Justice card. It's karmic because what you give out in the situation is what you will receive in the situation. Life has a funny way of balancing things out. This is like the Even Steven card. And it also reminds me of the book of the Egyptian Book of the Dead, where when you're going through your cycle of death, in the book, I don't know if it's reality or not, but your heart is weighed against a feather on the scales of life here. And if your heart is as light as a feather, you get to move on. And that's why this card is saying perhaps we're taking life a little too seriously. And my guides tell me that every time I get into kind of a quandary, or I take things over seriously, and I can get very upset or depressed or sad or moody about it. And there's reasons for that too. Yeah. Seven of Cups. These are the 7 planets that have something to offer you. And again, there's confusion in the decision making. But this card, so confusion with the choices that we have to make here. And this card asks you to consider what the heart wants. And so that goes quite interesting with the 3 cards here. It can't all be mental energy in this case. Maybe sometimes it can, but the cards are indicating that there's another factor here that maybe you're not considering, and that is your emotions or what the heart wants. I do see that this is Libra, and this is the moon in Libra, so this is associated with Libra. And so there's a lot of mental energy here. We're thinking. And you have 2 sides of the brain, right? And so the thoughts can go back and forth. But when we're just using our mental energy, I do want to pull one more for this. We're not making a whole decision here. Yeah, see? Queen of Cups. Now this may be somebody who's helping you, this may be somebody involved, but this person is all emotion. And they're highly concentrated on their emotional side. This may be somebody who doesn't use their mental faculties, because this is my Scorpio card, and this is somebody who is highly intuitive. And so they feel their way through a situation. So maybe in the past, you've been that person and you want to be the logical side now. But it is really important to combine the two. Okay. You're behaving like the Knight of Swords here. Also, I do want to emphasize with this card that the negative side of this card can be martyrdom. And so you want to make sure that you are not being a martyr here when making these decisions. There's a balance. There's a really delicate balance here. Interesting. So it can't all be emotional. It can't all be mental. The Knight of Swords also indicates to me, this is how you're behaving, so it indicates to me that you are using a lot of mental faculty, and something comes rushing in, or you come rushing in, and perhaps this is the decision that needs to be made or something. This is the Knight of Swords that comes in to save the day. So again, either this is somebody that you're dealing with, or it's you who's saying, okay, I will give up my whatever for somebody else. Martyrdom, right? But it doesn't have to be. It depends. It depends on if you're keeping your energy and your decision making logical. Maybe you don't have to give it all. Maybe you give a portion. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to negate yourself in order to make this decision. It can be something in between. But you are the Knight of Swords rushing in to save the day. How does it turn out for you? Well, it's a gamble. And maybe you're afraid of making a decision too quickly, because the Wheel of Fortune does say life is a gamble. It is often a card of a fortunate turn of events. So during these 2 weeks, something may happen where the wheel turns and there's something fortunate happening that helps you to make this decision. Let's have a look. But the Wheel of Fortune always says life is a gamble. Sometimes you're at the top, sometimes you're at the bottom, but the cycle keeps spinning. So even if you find yourself at the bottom, eventually you'll move up to the top again. Four of Wands. This is a celebratory card. It is a rite of passage. So making this decision seems to be like a rite of passage for you. But it's also people who welcome you in. They're people that think like you, act like you, and they welcome you into their situation, their home, the marketplace, their store, whatever. And it brings nice foundation for you. Or you're setting the foundation, because again, this is you and how you're dealing with the situation. So maybe you're inviting somebody or this person into your situation. You're going to take a gamble and be the knight in shining armor. Yeah, because you are being the King of Pentacles, which relates to this one for me. Now, here's the important thing with the King of Pentacles. They are highly focused on what they're doing, and they take small steps to create big changes. They're patient and they're diligent in their efforts. That's the key to the King of Pentacles. This is associated with Gemini. So again, that's more mental energy. However, Gemini is the lower mind, meaning they are busier with the things of the earth, right? Finances, work, home, property, security, that sort of thing. Okay. The outcome is the High Priestess and the Ten of Pentacles. The High Priestess is your divinity. It's your sacred, what you deem sacred. And it is the structure on which you build upon. So if the Magician is your vision and your concept of something. The high priestess is the structure on which you build upon, but that has to be what you deem sacred, what you deem divine. That way your structure holds. It's your belief, right? I really believe in this. She has the Torah in her hands. That's her belief. That's her structure on which she builds her concept of life and how she wants to live it. There can be things going on behind the scenes, because I do feel like there's a lot of conversation with this Ten of Pentacles card. And this is the daily life. It's your daily life, but it's also communication and negotiation. And if we are talking King of Pentacles here, there can be some financial negotiations going on behind the scenes. And you may or may not be aware of it, or you may be part of it, because this is the people that you talk to. Now, this can be family members, because this is often an inheritance card. So it can be family or extended family. But there is conversation, and sometimes that can be gossip. And because I have the High Priestess there, maybe there is some gossip going on, because it's kind of secretive and behind the scenes. Maybe you want to get another card for that. This is also the daily card, your daily life, the things that you do daily, the expenditures of your daily life. But it's also financial negotiations. It's the people that you see on a daily basis, your colleagues, your family, barista, the lady behind the counter. There can be a lot of conversation, that kind of thing. Nice. And then there's a choice, that new beginning, the Ace of Wands. Really nice. So this is autumn timing for me. Maybe things are going to be happening more in the autumn for you, or the fall. But it is a new passion that we're going to act upon here. And the nice thing about the King of Pentacles is that this person is highly, highly focused on this passion, on this new thing coming in, especially if it's business oriented, because they're looking for that stability. They're looking for, the King of Pentacles wants it all. They want it all. And these are the CEOs, right? These are the people that are taking their time and really funneling it into what they're doing. The Ace of Wands is the card of a new passionate beginning. And this card is, if accepted, right, it's the stuff that dreams are made of. It's your passion. And when you have, like I said, when you have your passion behind it, that's your structure. It has a tendency to have more staying power. Now, this can be on a financial level, because again, maybe we're getting financial backing to something that we wanted to do, this passionate new beginning. But I do think that maybe whatever decisions you make may come to, not fruition, but the beginning in the time of fall, or you can be that you talk and you make that decision in the fall period. Right? There's a lot of communication going on here with that Ten of Pentacles. I guess for everyone it may be a little bit different. Let's see what Spirit has to say. Perspective. Examine your situation from a higher perspective. That's where this card comes in, and this card. That's your intuition. That's your higher self. And to keep things in perspective, I think, is important. This card is interesting because on the ground they're fighting, but in the higher realms, or within their higher selves, they've kind of made this decision that this is what's going to happen, again, in order to learn something, in order to have an experience. But they're really together. I'm a big believer in this. I do have, my belief is that we make contracts with people difficulties happen because we want to grow, or we want to have an experience in order to grow, and we need people to spar with in order to do that. But we don't know it while we're here in the third dimension, in the physical reality. But our higher selves know better. Interesting. I hope that's been helpful. I know when I'm having problems, that's why I tend to look for the understanding or the wisdom of the situation. What am I learning here? What am I supposed to learn? Because it just makes things easier. And I'm not blaming anybody. So interesting though, because I don't really see argument here. But I do think they're kind of bringing home the idea of perspective. Okay? I hope this has been helpful. I will return in 2 weeks with a new moon reading. Thank you for watching. It's appreciated. Bye for now.